Welcome to Oddball. I'm Izzy Gutierrez. That is Amin El Hassan. All-Star Weekend was a couple of days ago, and it had sort of a pickup game type of feel. So we're going to kind of copy that a little bit and do a little bit of street ball right here. We're going to literally go to the streets and talk to some people and see what kind of conversations they might have had, what kind of takes they might have had over the weekend, just people getting stuff off their chest. I'm sure it will go about as well as the new format did.
Damn, way to set expectations real nice and high there.
Now we're going to kill it, right?
Yeah, first up, a few people spoke to our pal Juju Gotti, official correspondent of the Meadowlark Media Network, about who should be MVP this year. Juju, take it away.
Jayson Tatum, MVP.
What about you, bro?
DeAndre Fox, MVP. And DeAndre Fox? Yeah.
DeAndre Fox, whoever you are, MVP. I would give Steph Curry the MVP right now just for what he did in Paris this year. Neither here nor there. Nobody asked me. I get it.
Jokić is the MVP. That shouldn't even be a hot take, but for some reason they just want to have a talk about it. They just want people to argue. It's not an argument. He's Wilt Chamberlain right now. That's it. I mean, that's the only comparison.
Shai ain't no MVP.
Why not?
That free throw merchant, bro. That need to get off that fucking line for real.
Well, who the MVP then?
Jokić for sure.
I got KD.
KD? Woo! That's a hot-ass take, KD for MVP. I bet you won't hear that nowhere else. I'm talking about nowhere else. Literally nowhere else.
Yo, the SGA free throw merchant stuff has been getting so much momentum. It's driving me crazy. It's nothing. Man. He plays nothing like James Harden used to, where you used to complain. People used to complain. I'd be like, you know what? I get it. Like SGA, come on now. Now, I don't think he should win MVP over Joker, but I don't think he should get that all the time.
What's wrong with being a free throw merchant?
I know.
Again, if I'm so good that they can't guard me without fouling, why is that a negative on me? I never understood that for Harden. I don't understand it now for Shai
Harden, because Harden would just go seek it, like just go get that. It was just manipulating the rules a little bit, but they changed it since then, right? If you were to play by today's standards, when he was putting up 35 points a game, he wouldn't be getting, I would say, 40% of those calls.
I disagree. I think he'd go to the free throw line.
Let's go back in time.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get the time machine ready. All right, what else do we got?
DeAndre Fox.
My God, that's the one. That's the one. Even Kevin Durant as MVP, I'll take that one. Who is DeAndre Fox?
At least he corrected himself and said Andre Fox.
Andre Fox.
He got rid of the D.
The problem is I legit don't know what combination of other names I could put in there that would make his answer make sense. Andre Fox, De'Aaron Fox? He's not the MVP, right?
Hey, Aaron Fox would have been better.
DeAndre Ayton? That's not the MVP. Who was he talking about? Who do you think he was talking about?
I mean, it has to be De'Aaron Fox, but I don't know who the DeAndre is.
That would be like me saying, I don't know, like Bradley Beed. Bradley Beed is the MVP. Like, who's he talking about?
Yeah. By the way, Basketball Reference gives Joker a 72% chance to win the MVP, but DraftKings odds has SGA as the favorite at minus 500, which, I mean, just goes to show you sort of the conflicting narratives going on out there. All right, so we also got Juju talking to some fans about the Warriors and the potential for winning a championship.
Warriors going to win a championship.
Jimmy's got number 1, Steph's got number 5.
Give us the 8th, 7th. If we're 6 seed, it's over. No one wants us in 7. Hey. Steph Curry, that's the GOAT right there, baby. Let's go!
And let me down say, hey, Bay Area ain't no joke.
Warriors are winning the championship.
They're winning the championship.
Where did Amin come from is question number 1. Question number 2, how obvious was it that we were on the upper concourse?
First of all, that we have people like fans and not rich folks that are too concerned about how they look. Also, that wasn't me.
No? All right.
No,
it's a Thompson twins. It's the wrong twin situation. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I thought we were also going to roll in there one Draymond Green, who announced that the Warriors are going to win it. And I just, you know what it's like, Izzy? You have older siblings, but it's older sisters, right?
One older sister.
I have an older brother. And so when you're a kid, sometimes you get into situations, you say, hey, my brother's going to kick your ass, right? And at some point you realize, oh my God, I was just writing checks that my brother had to cash. Draymond Green is pivotal to Golden State's success. He's a Hall of Famer, all those things. I'm not here to disparage him, but when you say we're going to win a championship, bro, why are you putting that on everybody else, basically, man? Because he's not the one who's going to have to go out and score 30 to try to win this game.
No, but he did, he has been infected by Jimmy Butler already. Do you not remember Jimmy Butler, the king of the giant promises where it doesn't matter if he delivers? He's already promised multiple championships for the Heat, and he got them 0. So I think Draymond's just, like I said, infected by Jimmy and just echoing whatever the heck Jimmy is saying in the background. Puts a lot of pressure on Jimmy. That's all I'm saying. That was one player Jimmy coming in, and they went from 11th seed to all of a sudden we're going to win the championship.
Man, delusion.
What did I say about Wiggins, by the way?
This let's talk about Anthony Edwards here. This man outside of Chase Center had a bone to pick with the Ant-Man.
I ain't gonna lie, one person I'm mad at right now is Anthony Edwards. I had a good band on brother. All he had to do was make that last three-pointer. Cat was carrying your team. Hey, Anthony Edwards, switch your teams, because I ain't gonna lie, brother, even though you sold me on my pick, you got potential, you just need teammates around you. Get going. I ain't trying to have your career ruined, and I need my best to hit next time.
Wow. So he's saying that the Wolves picked the wrong star to trade, effectively.
Put a band on it, he said, man. That's a lot of money. You too young to be betting that much money. Jeez.
I bet $5 at a time. This dude is betting $1,000 and it's all on Anthony Edwards. Look, we talked about this regarding All-Star Game, that if Anthony Edwards is going to try to be the face of the league, which he didn't take very seriously when he was asked about it, he's like, no, that's what they got Wemby for. We already can tell he doesn't take the outside stuff very seriously, shooting left-handed in last year's game, not playing in this year's game, and not really announcing it until the game had already started. I think there's going to be a little bit of a, hey, get serious conversation with Anthony Edwards if they're going to, continue to shape a roster around him and make all these big moves to build around him and mortgaging the future to build around him. He's got to take things a little serious, no?
Yeah, or learn when he gets to Miami, right?
I like that option. All right, so we've got Ja Morant was in the news a little bit because he said, we talked about on yesterday's show, that he would do the dunk contest. No, he's not. There was somebody outside of Oracle Arena that had a few things to say about Ja Morant.
Ja Morant is the greatest point guard of this era.
Better than Steph Curry?
Yeah, but definitely better than Steph Curry for sure. That's facts. That's a fact. Ja Morant, the next 2 years, Finals MVP, 2 years, bro. I swear to God, Ja Morant, I'm putting my bets on it. Put your parlays on it. That's what I'm going to bet it on. Yeah, Ja Morant's going to win a Finals in 2 years.
Who?
Yeah, okay. So I see that we're the show that leads the league in names that cannot be pronounced correctly. Ja Morant? Morong is what you are, sir.
Was it Morong or Moran? It's a little bit of a, the idea that he's clearly better than Steph Curry, laughable. You're just, what were they, if he's a free throw merchant, was he a clip merchant? This is a guy who clearly just wanted to get on the show, and he made it. Good job.
Yeah, congratulations. Thank you for understanding what we're doing here, kid. I really appreciate it. By the way, Izzy, got to take you to task. Speaking of mispronouncing names, you said this was outside of Oracle. It was outside of Chase Center. Oracle, where are you from, buddy? Go back to 2019. Go get in the seniors.
I hadn't seen the clip. There was some stuff going on at Oracle. There was wasn't the All-Stars practice at Oracle? I thought people were being talked to outside of there.
Izzy, it's not called Oracle. It's called Oakland Arena. Like I said, get in your time machine that you mentioned earlier and go back to 2019 where you came from.
The future, Marty. Oh, God, that was terrible.
Oh, wow. Unlimited fake Doc Brown. All right. What would need to happen for this guy's prediction to come true, by the way? For
Memphis to win a ring? I mean, I think Jaren Jackson would have to win Most Improved Player back-to-back years because that's how good he'd have to be for them to win a title right away. I'm not saying they're no good. Obviously, they've climbed up to number 2. Definitely a dark horse, but I don't think anybody's picking them to win anything.
Zach Edey would have to be as good as everyone's trying to sell him out to be.
Hey, how many of these did we get when we walked by Zach Edey? I don't want him to look at me just in case. I don't think I looked him directly in the face. It was very cowardice of me.
All right, let's see what else we got. We've got, this fan feels really good about Jayson Tatum this year.
I think Jayson Tatum is one of the best shooters in the league. I feel like he's very confident. I feel like he's confident in himself and the way he shoots. He owns the Celtics in a way, and that's my opinion. I feel like Jaylen Brown, like, he was the one who was like ruling the Celtics, but Jayson Tatum like quickly took over and he's being more consistent, and I feel like it's going to continue to be like that.
Jayson Tatum owns his own team. He took it from Jaylen Brown. I have heard rumblings that Jaylen Brown won't be on that team next year. Do they not like each other?
Wait a second. You've heard these rumblings and you haven't shared them in this space at all? Tell me more.
Yeah, I mean, it was just that. It was exactly what you just heard. Hey, Jaylen might not be on this team next year. They got to trade him. There you go.
All right, there you go. We're breaking news here on Oddball. Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about. I'm like, what? Hey, first of all, in a weird way, the confidence, is it just me or do I feel like there is a lack of confidence there, Jayson Tatum?
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
There's like a little insecure. I would say lack of confidence. Lack of confidence is there's an insecurity there that just oozes out of him all the time. And so I don't know. I don't know necessarily if he's wrested control from Jaylen Brown either. I think Jayson Tatum is, like I said, an innings eater. And then when it counts, they seem to go to Jaylen Brown a lot. But, that's just me.
Who was the one at All-Star saying, hey, end the TNT thing. Let's get back on the court? That was Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's the only guy who also was not dapped up by LeBron James in that locker room. You see that video when he was going through the locker rooms. That, I think, gives him more street cred. I don't think, I think this woman is wrong. I don't think Jayson Tatum has taken control back from his team. I still think Jaylen Brown owns the Celtics, which is a stupid sentence to say.
Yes. The dumbest.
And that more Jayson Tatum stuff. Juju really talked to Jayson Tatum up with these folks, huh?
I was finna say something stupid.
Say it, fuck it.
Man, hey, JT, my light-skinned twin.
Hey, JT, you see it? You see the resemblance?
Yes, sir.
Come on, man. Hey, JT, you got a twin out here, man. Pull up on him.
I'm not trying to be mean. That kid looks like Marcus Smart. He looks like a light-skinned Marcus Smart more than he looks like Jayson Tatum.
He looks nothing like Jayson Tatum. But
light-skinned though.
I did. So one of my favorite moments of All-Star Weekend, I got to talk to Chris Mullin on a stage at one, basically like NBA Con, like a convention type of setting. And he was on the team that made me fall in love with playing with the NBA. And that was Run TMC. And it was probably one of my favorite interviews ever. And my best friend used to call himself Chris Mullin because he thought he was Chris Mullin twin. He was like, he had the buzz cut, white kid, looked nothing like Chris Mullin.
There you go.
But for me, we tried to find a comp for me, somebody that could play like, but also looked like. And the best they could come up with is a la Abdel Nabi.
Oh my God.
which is not how I played at all. It was just how they thought maybe I looked. I was asking for at least Rick Fox. But no, I got Allah Abdel Nabi. I think I actually told Allah that story before.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. By the way, there was a time in this country, any white kid on a playground, you were Chris Mullin, right?
Yeah.
And then it became Ginobili. Any white guy on a playground, Ginobili. You get that a lot. You see a lot of guys.
I didn't get the Ginobili. Anytime anybody did a Euro, it was always Ginobili. Didn't matter about the color of their skin.
Who's got Ginobili? It rang across playgrounds all across America. All right, let's take a break here. On the other side, we'll get more of these hot takes, maybe from people more reputable than just a guy at that Oracle.
Welcome back to Oddball. We're doing that thing that they used to do in like 80s and 90s sitcoms where they just run like a clip package because they couldn't write an entire episode for some reason. Like that was such a lazy approach. This is not lazy, I swear. We were working really hard in the Bay Area. I was going to say outside of Chase Center, but let's just say somewhere in the Bay Area. Mac McClung, the winner of 3 dunk contests in a row now, he's got a new fan.
I think Mac McClung need to be in the NBA. Like no doubt about it. This guy is insane. Je t'aime. Man, he know how to dunk. Actually, it's flying. It's not even jumping. It's flying.
What do you think of his hair?
Okay, not my side because obviously I'm a fashion girl. But who cares? Come, we style you. Come over. And I like also the creativity. Like putting some ladders, the car, all of that.
Well,
it was superb.
Was it Mike McClung? Did she say Mike McClung? I think she said Mike McClung.
Hey, man, let her call him Mike McClung. That's a good name. By the way, so I've been told that she's famous in France. And I said, for what? And no one knew. So maybe, you know what? I like to imagine that we just like interviewed the Taylor Swift of France, and this thing is going to go crazy viral, and we're going to just put a bunch of French comments under our Instagram post. What'd you think of Mac McClung's performance, though?
All right. So a couple things about Mac, and I'm going to say the good stuff first. He has been a savior. He and, I mentioned in yesterday's show that he, made his decision to do the third dunk contest in a row, not out of fear, right? He didn't decline out of fear. He said yes out of love for the sport and didn't care about what would happen to him if he failed or whatever. And he had some tricky ones. He actually missed one, right? He missed a couple, I think, but which doesn't really happen to him. And I think the showman in him and the ability, don't get me wrong, the showman and the ability in him, just like it shows that he put more effort than other people, right? And the way he talks about it with such zest for everything. Like he understands, he does not take it for granted. That's it.
Go ahead. Thank you.
I can't stand the effective like resettling yourself by pushing off the ball a little bit when you're jumping, like that. It's I don't mind it if that's one or two of your dunks throughout, the whole lineup. But when it's like 75% of your dunks, like I shout out to dude with a strong neck who makes it look like he's not pushing down at all. But he definitely gets sort of a little boost up there in the air from that. It doesn't mean anything about like he doesn't deserve to win it. He doesn't deserve it. It's incredible. It is what it is. But just the purest in me from a dunker says, no, get in the air and do something crazy, which he has done a lot.
Right.
But again, most of his dunks are the little tiny push off.
Yeah, I did feel like Stephon Castle, some of his dunks were underappreciated. And none of his dunks needed props or whatever. I'm always, like the props always remind me of Carrot Top. You pull out guy on a hoverboard and pull out a car and all that. So just go up and dunk it.
Don't forget the ladder.
I didn't think I thought you were going to go with a different protest, which is mine, which is, look, if the kid can't play on an NBA roster, then he shouldn't be. Right. And I'm just going off of the reality of the NBA, right? Is if you were an NBA caliber player, you would get some time, could be as a 10th man, could be as a 9th man. You get some time. He's never shown the ability, even though he's the MVP of the G League, he's never shown the ability to stay at the NBA level for a consistent amount of time and earn minutes. I mean,
yeah, that I don't care about. Not especially with him, because if it's just a person I'd never heard of who showed up the first time and did it, I would have been like, I have no idea who this kid is. But Mac had already been known.
Yeah, no, he's already
I knew who he was, so with him, I'm fine with. And, it's all about time and situation. Like if he would have been in the right time and place with the right coach, the right lineup, right group of guys, he would have been able to be on a roster as an 11th or 12th man somewhere. I mean, that's my opinion. I think that's like, you're being a little bit too picky. Like, we're complaining, the 12th guy on a team can go ahead and play in the All-Star game, but somebody who just got cut shouldn't? Nah, I think it's fine.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, right? Because this is his third time and he still isn't on a roster for real. Like he's a two-way guy who never gets called, never does the second way. He just stays down there. One way. He's a one-way guy. It's
always interesting to see which jersey he's going to be in. Oh, wow, he's an Orlando Magic guy this year. Interesting.
He's wearing a Channing Frye jersey. I caught up with Frank Isola at the NBA Retired Players Association event, and Frank had a couple of takes that were kind of on fire. This one about where Kevin Durant is going to play. Kevin Durant, start of next season, is going to
Houston
be
Rockets. Ime Udoka, tight. I think it'll be a good fit. They'll go through the playoffs this year. I think they'll get knocked out. They have pieces to trade to Phoenix. It'd be smart for Phoenix. I think it'd be smart for Kevin Durant.
Two things about Frank Isola. He wore that vest the entire weekend. I'm pretty sure every time I saw him, he was wearing that black puffy vest. I also saw him I want to say 3 different times for the weekend. George Sedano was there, never even came close to seeing him. Rachel Nichols was there, never came close to seeing him. Somehow, Frank is everywhere. I'm convinced there's more than one of him. That's all I'm saying.
They're cloning Frank Isolas out there, ladies and gentlemen. He brings up a good point, though. Like, Houston is one of the rare teams where they're good and they have a bunch of picks and assets and they have an in on Kevin Durant with with Ime Udoka, which, by the way, do you remember when the Nets were this close to hiring Ime Udoka as their head coach?
Yeah.
And then they buckled due to public pressure. I mean, I know they're happy now with Jordy Fernandez, but
I don't think that would have been a great fit either. I think he would have been a little too grinding on the vets. I think he's good for what this Houston team is, which is a mix of pretty young and then a couple of veteran leaders. I think the other way around probably wouldn't have worked.
No, maybe. I think like what Frank is pointing to, him and Kevin Durant are pretty tight, pretty close. So,
by the way, if that happens, Miami is going to be so ticked off. Miami fans that a sixth chance maybe at Kevin Durant and couldn't land him. What was Isola's other take? He had another take about overtime in the NBA, right?
Oh yeah, this one's a good one.
At the end of regulation, if a game is about to go into overtime, that means a team either had a chance to win the game or somebody hit a shot to tie the game. I'm going to do a 1 minute break and I'm going to do a 2 minute overtime. I think it makes no sense to play 5 minutes. Save 5 minutes for the playoffs. I have no problem with that. If you had a 1 minute break and then you played a 2 minute overtime, I would root for more overtime because you know how it works. Game goes to overtime, 3 minute break, 5 minute overtime. It's an extra 20 minutes. And everyone talks about, the strain on the players and all this stuff. So then cut it down. And then hockey does it. Hockey gimmicks up the regular season. Then in the playoffs, they do a full overtime.
I think I counted 5 separate times where me tried to step in there and say something, but Frank was not having it.
Makes a great point though. Like, look,
five is so arbitrary. I hadn't even thought about it. Why 5 minutes?
So that was his thing. It was like, look, it's like 5 minutes isn't divisible by 4, or like that doesn't have a common thing with 48.
It's not a third of 12.
Yeah, it's just like a random thing, and there's like so many things in our sport are just random. It's so funny when people are married to like, no, you can't change that.
2 minutes makes so much sense because in football we get the 2 minute warning. What are we warning people about? You get the 2 minute. What's the other thing on 2 minutes in the NBA?
When the NBA is, that's when
the final 2 minutes report, the last 2 minute report, right?
And also
so that's when everything intensifies.
The Heat PA announcer goes, "Dos
minutos." Sorry, I had to finish it for you.
Yes,
but yeah, I like that idea. And it sort of keeps us from having to go the 10-minute quarters that Adam Silver wants to do just because everybody else in the world is doing it.
Yeah, the other thing is also like we get like a full break between the end of regulation and the start of overtime. Get rid of that, man. Just let's get right to it. Just switch sides like they do in soccer and let's get it going. Let's see what else we got here. We've got Chris Dillon. He was the director of Goliath, which is the excellent Wilt Chamberlain documentary. We interviewed him right here on Oddball about a year and a half ago. He's producing a new film. We'll talk about that on another time, but he had some ideas here about defense.
I would have the NBA play like any other level of basketball. There's no illegal defense. You can play any defense you want.
Right.
The turning point, I think, is the 2004 Olympics, where it's like we go over there and we send our all-stars, we send our dream team, and we get our ass kicked by Serbia.
Yep.
And Greece has given us everything we can handle. Right. So I really hate the fact that it's like the only league that has defensive, illegal defense is the best one.
Izzy, do you want to see a 2-3 zone?
I mean, look, referees have to worry about a lot, right? And to have to count every time somebody, defensive player's in the zone and the 2.9 situation, and did he get his feet all the way out or not? I mean, come on. Like, I'm with this guy. Like, Dillon, this Chris Dillon, 2 first names? Yeah. What's the point? Like, go ahead. We already went to zone. We already make it a lot more difficult. I love watching the old clips of Michael Jordan having all the space in the world because you had to either come double or you couldn't zone. But just get rid of the 3-second defensive rule and just let them zone up.
All right, we got one more. We got Greg Oden has an idea for how to end all NBA games.
The ELAM ending would make every game a dog fight at that too.
I like
and the game wouldn't go past that.
Yep.
So it literally guys would save their legs instead of maybe having a 2-3 overtime game before back-to-back. Every game ends this way. You know how many minutes you possibly going to play. So
I like that.
That might help. Oh, and also paying Greg Oden a lot more money.
That should always be number one.
Yeah, and then the game starts with a 10-0 run, and everybody's like, this game's over. I don't love it.
Izzy, how about paying Greg Oden? We're good with that right now.
Nah.
Oh.
Wasn't that a Louis hat?